study to show thyself approved. You got to read and write. Everyday hell, I'm just trying to show eternal life. I'm just trying to show eternal life. This burning all at midnight. Who shall teach knowledge, make them understand doctrine? Who shall teach knowledge, make them understand doctrine? Who shall teach knowledge, make them understand doctrine? Line upon line, line upon line. Who shall teach knowledge, make them understand doctrine? Who shall teach knowledge, make them understand doctrine?
They can actually hear me. Hey, peace, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Burning Midnight Oil. I'm Brother Judicial. I'll be the host or the teacher. And doing the productions, also reading is Nashan. And Burning Midnight Oil is where we come to you midnight, Friday nights, or around midnight. And we get about an hour 15, hour 20 minutes of studying. We burn a little oil at midnight. Most people who are watching our show are aware that there are a couple of other lessons that take place before this one. So, you know, if you, as the Bible say, give us this day our daily bread, I would say a piece of Philly cheesesteak. Nah, we the dessert really though. And we just come and we chop it up and we try to keep the subjects easy. We only give you 12 scriptures. Here a little, there a little, maybe 13 sometime, but we try to give you 12 scriptures. Whereas when we do our lessons on the weekly Sabbath, we tend to have a little more than that. And then we just try to keep it real simple, give you a base to grow and develop in the Word of God. Like the Bible tells us that we're supposed to grow in knowledge and in grace. And, I try to come and help you get a little more knowledge. The grace going to come on you, man. The way you show mercy and the way you operate with God, that's going to determine how you grow in that measure. But you need to be growing. And so here's just a place where we can chop up subjects. Sometimes some subjects you don't even get to hit in lessons per se. Even like the one we dealing with today. I didn't have a title for today's lesson. It's like politics. Like the question is, and I'm gonna be honest. When you start talking about American government and politics, I being a bootleg historian, meaning I don't know if there's an official place where I can get a title historian, but I do love history. And just looking at American politics, they got Democrats and Republicans. And I watch a lot of the television and rhetoric and the YouTube videos and things, and it's like kind of like a game to me. And it's funny how black people, the majority of black people, associate with Democrats, not even understanding how that even came to be, because the reality is we became free citizens in this country under a Republican. Under Abraham Lincoln, he was a Republican, and there's a misconception that one is for the rich and one is for the poor. Politics is real goofy, to me. And when I say to me, it's just being somebody that's really dug into it. I mean, the president, what is his real power? It's just a whole lot of extra stuff. Like if you ask me who run the country, it's the people who run the money. You know what I'm saying? And they basically controlling the president. But it's been a lot of political talk lately. And wasn't the presidents here this week? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? In our town, the presidents was here, or the people running for it. And it's a big fanfare to me. I was having a conversation, and a great conversation about this subject. And one of the things that came up is voting. Should you vote? And we're going to kind of address that a little bit in this lesson. But do you know the definition of voting?
To elect someone in power. I mean, not someone in power, but to elect, like, anyone.
Well, it says vote, a formal indication. That's a key word, indication, of a choice between two or more candidates or courses of action, expressed typically through a ballot or a show of hands or voice. Mm-hmm. So what voting actually is is you expressing your choice. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Um, there was a so when you ask, is it okay to vote? You're just expressing your choice. And as we found out through politics in America, that the majority of the people can actually vote for somebody that doesn't get into office. That has actually happened, I think maybe once, if I'm not mistaken, because the way our politics work here, when you start talking about voting for president, it's we're really selecting. I don't want to get into it, but it's I don't want to get it too far into it, but the electoral college is a group of people that's actually selecting. They're supposed to be representing the people, representing our votes, and they're the ones that actually select the president, I guess. At the end of the day, I don't know. Like I said, I was having a conversation in about the subject, and the voting part that really intrigued me. But there was Eddie Murphy a long time ago. They asked him did he vote. I think he was on the Arsenio Hall show, and he was like, "Man, me going to vote is like trying to figure out who foot is the smallest to stick up my butt." You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, what I learned about politics and government and all that kind of stuff is the structure of it is wrong. Like if you look at the title in today's lesson, it says the title is called "The System is Still Babylon." Like at the end of the day, everything that we deal with is still Babylon's system. It's not godly. It's not a godly system. Even just they may have tried to in some way incorporate God, but it was never about God. It was really about being the United States of Europe. And when I say that, Europe created this country, and Europe is divided states. Each country, France, Germany, Italy, those are considered states, but they are their own government. Okay, whereas the United States, which was created by Europe, is basically a project. Like how they got projects in your neighborhood, and the projects are developed. It's basically a project here, and our Constitution is based off of something called the Magna Carta that was written like maybe 300-400 years prior to the Constitution or before the Constitution. Meaning, and I'm saying that to say that America is the great experiment, and what you see now, after America becomes 50 states, now you begin to see Europe incorporating the American views. Or when you look at, or when I say the American views, now Europe is becoming the European Union, because the United States was the place that showed them, hey, this can work. When you start talking about taxes, when you're in Europe, you got to pay taxes to go from place to place at one point. Tariffs, whatever they want to call it. Here, you can go from Georgia to Philly, right? You might have to pay a toll, but you ain't paying taxes. You dig what I'm saying? We got the same money here. They didn't have the same money over there. Each place had different money, the British pound, the Spanish dinero, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, or the francs, or whatever they version of money is. But then you got this economic union when they decide to come together. Now they got the euro dollar. So what I'm saying is America is an experiment for Europe so that they can see how they would have become one. So it's a part of the great big scheme of things. And that's also what you got to learn, is that everything that is happening in politics, at the end of the day, like when I look at Barack Obama as president, Democrat, and when you look at what happened in his era, and I'm definitely not a Democrat. I'm sorry. Like I read too much. Bill Clinton, Democrat, all on Arsenio Hall, prison rate 500,000, 1 million, 1.5 million. Barack Obama, oh, black president. So we went from halfway gay to 100% gay. Like you can sit here like this stuff is anti us. You see, so but that's my political views. Now, the title of today's lesson, "The System is Still Babylon. True politics belong to God." So one of the things that I wanted us to do is actually, do you know what politics even mean? I got a new app on my phone. I think it's not an app. It's where I can text message this thing called Gemini. It's an AI, y'all. So we're just gonna see what they say what politics is. So I put in, what is politics? Politics is the process of making decisions that affect a group of people. It involves the distribution of power and resources within a society. Politics can occur at various levels, from local communities to international organizations. So in my title, "The System is Still Babylon," true politics belong to God. So the Bible is going to give you true politics. It's going to show you how you govern the people. It is different than our society. So different, and we're going to see some of these things. But just going back to our title first, the system is still Babylon. So I wanted to make sure I explain that. Look, Babylon started, 600, 700 years before Christ hit the scene. Its form of government is not what still exists. They had kings and different things, but its religion stayed. And Babylon has went from Babylon to the Medo-Persian Empire, but the religion stayed. To the Greeks, but the religion stayed. To the Romans, but the religion stayed. Now here's what we mean by religion stayed. You didn't really celebrate, no, you didn't celebrate Christmas at all. The way we celebrate Christmas came from the Medo-Persians. But the God itself came from the Babylonians. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And each time another government, just like going to church on Sunday, during the Babylonian eras, it was the worship of Jupiter or Saturn or whatever the sun god is. The sun, worship of the sun god. Then next thing you know, it eventually, by the time it get to Rome, and then Roman Catholicism, now it transforms into what we have today. So it all starts with Babylon. And the weirdest thing about it is that it starts with the original Babylon. See, the original Babylonians were Hammurabi. Hammurabi and Nimrod in the Bible, but Hammurabi, or have you ever heard of the Hammurabi codes? Mm-hmm. Where you hear that at?
From you.
I was hoping you was going to say at school. Y'all didn't hear nothing about it in school? That's crazy. The Hammurabi codes is like the first code of law. Our law today is still kind of based on the Hammurabi Code, and the Hammurabi Code is also based kind of off of God's law. But they were the first Babylon. So the original Babylonians were actually a black people. African, though. When I say African, Hamitic, not Shemitic. You know what I'm saying? But we would identify with them as black people. Mm-hmm. And they was your first government, and that was the first Babylon. So you got like the original Babylon that go back to Noah's day. And that's where Hammurabi come out. That's where Nimrod come out. That's how Egypt begins to become a power through that bloodline of people. So, like I say, the system is still Babylon. True politics belongs to the Lord. So we did this. Okay. So let's go to Revelation chapter 18. We're gonna start here. Revelation chapter 18. Like I said, this is about should you be voting, I guess. And, at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you like this. Two things. If David Duke, you ever heard of David Duke? Some Klansman was running for the mayor of Darby. That's where we actually live. Wouldn't you want to make sure he ain't the mayor? So what you can do to prevent that?
Vote against him.
Exactly. You and all the people that you can get with him. You dig on that get with you. Hopefully y'all can be counted enough to show we don't want this man representing this area. You understand what I'm saying? One thing I hate about presidents is nobody talks about the fact that the United States is a government and it is a business. So when you start talking about who you want in office, make sure you understand you want a very savvy businessman in office. Somebody, but also a caring person, right? What if somebody don't care about people? You want them in. So, and the thing about it is, you don't even know these people. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know these people. You don't know Donald Trump. You don't know this other girl. What's the girl name?
Harris, whatever.
Yeah, we don't know neither one of them. I mean, honestly. You don't know, but it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, people vouching for their character, right? Or lack thereof. With your boy Donald Trump, they act like he ain't got no character. Donald Trump was cool before he ever started running for president, especially amongst Israel. He was. You know what I'm saying? But all of a sudden he wanted to run for president, and we done turned him into a racist or something. It's weird. It's politics. And see, it's a game to me. You know what I'm saying? So it's real. When I say it's a game, it's like it's a game that it doesn't. Let me tell you something. I've been living since before Ronald Reagan, Jimmy Carter, Gerald Ford. That's when I was born. The same thing I noticed for mankind. You gotta get your butt up and work. Man don't work, he don't eat. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who the president is. So at the end of the day, now what I will say is you ain't gonna be able to complain if you ain't had nothing to do with it. But I mean, complain to who and for what? So anyway, let's pick this up. We're gonna get into some book, man. Revelation chapter 18, and hopefully we learn something we can build somewhere with this. Revelation chapter 18. Let's pick it up verse 1.
And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen.
So this is from a perspective that we done destroyed Babylon now. So because he's looking at visions in the book of Revelation. But go ahead.
Is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils.
Yep.
And the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful
So
word.
this is what Babylon is at this point. It's where there's not a sin that, man, people done slept with dogs in this place. You know what I'm saying? Like there's not a sin that man ain't doing. That's what this place has become. But go ahead.
For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
They say all the nations. So everywhere we live, we've been drinking of the wrath of the fornication of Satan, really. Every nation. Go ahead.
And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her.
And all the kings. So it don't even matter who the president like that. Like don't get like when somebody become. I remember when Walter Mondale didn't win. When Michael Dukakis didn't win. These people who ran for president. Like, we was all, like, really wanting them to be the president. And then they wasn't. And their names was forgotten. And nobody cares. Life just keep on going. Honestly, it does. But keep going.
And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich.
Right, they get money with this. The nations have drunk, the kings, everybody in bed with the same player. Like, it's just like when you go to court, man. The DA, the public defenders, and the judge, they all go to lunch together. They all know each other. Halfway went to college with each other in the same fraternities and sororities. You dig what I'm saying? They friends. It's all a game, man. At the end of the day, the best. I'm gonna tell you the way you win in this game. Serve God. Depend on God. Put your faith in God. Let him be your God. And you ain't gonna care who the king is. Honestly. Heck, I'm into politics. Man, I can even tell you the name of the mayor of Philadelphia. You understand that? Because the mayor is it's just the mayor. He gonna do the mayor, the mayor gonna do the same thing. The mayor gonna do whatever the mayor gonna do. Does that make sense to you? Meaning, like, whatever the president ain't gonna do, whatever the president gonna do, whatever the agenda is of the moment. You know what I'm saying? If it's time to go to war, we're just gonna go to war. It doesn't matter who's the president. I mean, and when I say that, and you might be like, I'm gonna give you a good example. John F. Kennedy was trying not to go to Vietnam, trying to pull us out that was already there and stop the rest of the war. Mm-hmm. What happened? We still went to Vietnam, didn't we? Yeah. What they do with Kennedy? Oh, we just kill him and his brother. Make sure y'all ain't. You see what I'm saying? The agenda is the agenda. Period. Okay. So anyway, what verse?
Middle of 3.
Go ahead.
And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
Yeah.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins.
Yeah. So make sure that when you looking at our political system, that you ain't in it like that. Period. That you ain't in it. Now, when I say you ain't in it, no, look, man. A job is a job. I ain't got no problem if you say, hey, sure, I want to run for a congressman. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I say I ain't got no problem, you're going to be a grown man. You got to be a certain age to do that. I can't stop you nowhere. But I'm going to support you. When I say don't be in it, I'm saying you play by God's rules. So if you going to be, like, let's say Brother Bowie ran for president. Man, all us voting. I don't even, man, they asked me what I would to get my license with the vote. I'm like, no, I'm going to vote a Bowie running for president. You dig what I'm saying? And because I want the world to know that I stand with him. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You dig what I'm saying? I stand with that man. So when you making a vote, just understand. That's what you saying. You standing with these people. But are you really? You dig what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, dang, well, this person feel this way and this person feel this way, but is it with God? So then, is it really what you want in there anyway? You know what I'm saying? But again, like I say, I digress. Let's get back to the book. Where are we at?
Middle of 4.
Mm-hmm.
Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.
Uh-huh.
For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities.
Go ahead.
Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her work. In the cup which she had filled her double.
Go ahead.
How much hath she glorified herself, and lived deliciously? So much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow.
What verse you at?
8.
Go ahead.
Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning.
So the Lord just saying at the end of the day, I'm going to destroy this place. This whole, when it's all said and done, the Lord going to be king. He going to set up a whole nother government. That's the point. Like the way God going to set up his government it's going to be nothing like any government that's on planet Earth. So then that means God's way is right. And then what's all the other governments? They wrong. Keep reading though.
One day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judged her.
Verse 9.
And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication.
So again, I'm just showing you the kings of the earth, they done committed fornication. Go ahead.
And live deliciously with her.
Yep.
Shall beware her, and laments for her, when they shall see the smoke of her burning.
Go ahead.
Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come.
All right, that's good. So, again, we look at the system is Babylon. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a godly system that we in regardless. All right. But I will say this. Let's go to Proverbs 21:1. Let's read that verse real quick time. But I will say this, that like the Bible is something totally different. And it's funny because I hear terminology being used that's more similar to the Bible when they speak evil. For example, how they be trying to say somebody is socialist. And then the opposite, but we'll get there. Let's read the Proverbs 21:1. Go ahead.
The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord.
Yeah.
As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will.
So basically, at the end of the day, we're reading this Proverbs 21:1 because we're saying that God controls it all anyway. When Jesus left earth, because Jesus came down to earth, died on the cross, and went back up to heaven, a question was asked to him, like, will you now restore the kingdom back to Israel? That's what they asked him. Because Jesus was born to be king of the Jews. But that's another story. We'll touch that at the end. And he say, well, when I return. But when you read in Psalms 110, it's like, and the Lord said to my Lord, sit thou with my right hand until I make thy enemies thy footstool. So when you look at the earth, all it's doing is it's preparing itself for the return of the Lord. And it's like the earth is the Lord's enemies, and it's becoming his footstool. So it's like God is control. Whatever happened in politics is all moving in a direction of the end days. So it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like how I'm so disgusted about Barack Obama's how this gay world then came about. But it didn't matter if Barack Obama was in there or not. The gay thing was coming. You dig what I'm saying? The price is going up. It don't matter if Donald Trump was going to be in there or not. The prices it was coming. You see what I'm saying? Like, because all of this is pointing and guiding you toward the coming of the Lord. And when you start talking about the coming of the Lord, we talking about a great tribulation. And we talking about where you ain't going to be able to buy or sell without the mark of the beast. And it's going to be way different. So the king, his heart is in the hand of the Lord. He's controlling it all regardless. All right. Now, let's go to 2 Peter chapter 2. But one of the things I wanted us to learn is the difference in socialism and capitalism. And we'll talk about that in a minute. We'll talk about that when we get to, let me see. Yeah, when we get here, we'll talk about that. So we did talk about that and that. Okay. So now we here in this land. And it's just like the other day we was watching about the cheetah, Tyreek Hill. He around the corner from the football stadium, and they stopped him and did all this. And, we was talking about that. And at the end of the day, Tyreek Hill could have avoided that. Do you remember Sandra Bland? We talked about it. She was she had. Do you remember Sandra Bland? Well, Sandra Bland was a young lady who she was from Chicago. She went down to Texas to take a job. I want to say maybe even in the courthouse or something, like something maybe political. Police pulls her over. He being rude, probably disrespectful, and she's standing for herself. Get what I'm saying? But he's saying stuff like I think at some point she was like she might have been smoking a cigarette the whole time, and she like blew smoke back at him, but like through her window, like you know what I'm saying. But then he took disrespect to her. Anyway, at the end of the day, she ended up dying. Look, man, and I don't know this is my philosophy. Get home. We can go try to catch a lawsuit later. Get home. You know what I'm saying? We can go fight it later. We can fight it together. I don't need to be fighting it while I'm burying you. You dig what I'm saying? Get home. Give these folks respect. Once they got that gun, man, what you gonna shoot back? You dig what I'm saying? Like you wanna fight with them? Like that's stupid. That's what that is. There's no reason for you to look, man. These police, they ain't your friend. Don't make them your enemy. Their job is not to like you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like they in camp and it's like, oh yeah, well, we need to learn how to, get along with the neighborhood and like the young black kids or the young black men. Like that ain't their job. Their job is to catch criminals. Unfortunately, son, a lot of us black men are criminals, so therefore they look at black men as criminals. Get your butt home. You know what I'm saying? That's politics too, though. You know what I'm saying? That's politics too, because that's the executive side of politics. They execute the law. Okay? Now, let's go to 2 Peter, right? And chapter 2. 2 Peter chapter 2. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've been out there. Like, when I say I've been out there, like, I had Lieutenant C.L. Walker. That's his name. He kicked my butt. What was I doing? Going to work. You dig what I'm saying? Going to work. What did I do wrong? He told me to put my hands on that hood of that car, and I didn't because it was hot. I touched it. It was hot. I moved it. I pace a lot. Y'all know that. I pace a lot anyway. Well, I started pacing. Next thing you know, the next officer come, bang, beat me. If I ain't had a scully on my head because I was in between work, it was wintertime. I was working like triple shifts at UPS. So, bang, I hit the ground on my snowcat. Otherwise, I would hit the concrete. You dig what I'm saying? They roughed me up, whatever. Like, all that being said, that done happened to me. I'm going to tell you something, man. Leave these police alone. Do what they tell you. That's my fault, too. You dig what I'm saying? Meaning, I should have put my hands on that high hood if I ain't want to risk that. You dig what I'm saying? Like, they the authority. Now, we're going to read. And when I say that, like, you might be like, man, I ain't no punk. You ain't got to be no punk. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, get your butt home. You see what I'm saying? Like, or look, I'd rather you be a live punk. What it say? A living dog is better than a dead lion. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, we could sit here and talk about you being a punk while you alive. We don't need to talk about how brave you are when you dead. How stupid you was. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what be happening. These folks be standing for their rights. You ain't got no rights. Who told you had rights? Like, man, you put yourself, if you want the rights, you should have kept your land. You should have had it. Because when you read this, and we're going to read some of this stuff in the Bible, you're going to see it was a whole nother way that we could have had. Anyway, let's get into this. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 11 through 25. When you get there, go ahead.
Whereas angels...
No, 1 Peter. That's my problem. I'm sorry. 1 Peter chapter 2. I'm just looking. I'm like, this don't look right. My bad. 1 Peter. Go ahead.
Dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lusts, which war against the soul.
Go ahead.
Having your conversation honest among the Gentiles.
So, like the Gentiles, so look what he's telling you, having your conversation honest amongst the Gentiles. Like the Gentiles, that's the police, that's the law, you know what I'm saying? They control that, but period. When you out here in the world, you want that reputation of being an honest black man. You dig what I'm saying? You ain't no thug. You ain't gotta be no thug. For what? What's a thug? A thug is somebody that's gonna end up in jail. More than likely. You get what I'm saying? Like, why you wanna be that? Why you wanna be hard? Well, somebody told me the hardest thing about being hard is being real. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, keep going.
That whereas they speak against you as evildoers, they may, by your good works which they shall behold, glorify God in the day of visitation.
So when they see when you sing, it's like, man, they might think you one type of way, but they can't say nothing about you. That's how you want to carry yourself. Having your conversation honest among the Gentiles, whereas they speak evil against you as evildoers, they may by your good works, which they should behold, glorify God in the day. Like they should be beholding your good works. But we here for this. Go ahead.
Submit yourselves to every ordinance.
So look, when it's all said and done, submit yourselves to the law of the land. Don't be trying to now look, man. The law of the land say 2 men can get married. Like, man, we ain't disrespecting God to be keeping the law of God, to be keeping the law of the land. But I mean, when you look at the law of the land and you look at what they're telling you, if you steal, it's a crime. If you cheat, it's a crime. It's a, you know what I'm saying? It's like if you do different things, like cheating on your taxes. I'm saying that's a crime. You know, you do like the stuff that the law is telling you to do really ain't too far away from God's law. So it's like He's telling you submit yourselves to every ordinance. That means the police, like, be humble to that situation. They in charge. Go ahead.
Submit yourselves to every ordinance of man for the Lord's sake,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be the king as supreme, or unto governors, as unto them that are sent by him for the punishment of evildoers.
So, like he said, like the police is sent for the punishment of evildoers. So it says, or unto governors, as unto them that are sent by him for the punishment of evildoers. Go ahead.
And for the praise of them that do well.
Right. And I mean, if you do well, you can get some praise. But keep reading.
For so is the will of God, that with well-doing ye may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men, as free, and not using your liberty for a cloak of maliciousness, but as the servants of God. Honor all men, love the brotherhood, fear God, honor the king.
Look, and what you need to understand is, if you serving God, then the king ain't even that important to you. Meaning, for you to do what the law say, but you serving God, like the law of the land, we saying.
Mm-hmm.
But you serving God, it's not that big of a deal. You dig what I'm saying? Like, you ain't stealing, that's serving God, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do what your mama say, that's serving God, right?
Mm-hmm.
You not committing adultery, you serving God, right? I mean, you get what I'm saying? Like, if you doing this to serve God. But keep reading.
Servants, be subject to your master with all fear, not only to the good and gentle, but also to the forward. For this is thankworthy, if a man for conscience towards God endure grief, suffering wrongfully.
Mm-hmm.
For what glory is it, if, when ye be buffeted by your faults, ye shall take it patiently? But if when ye do well and suffer it, ye shall take it patiently. This is acceptable with God.
So what he's saying is, look, man, be subject to your masters, whether he said, for this is thankworthy, if a man conscious, for what glory is it, for what glory is it if when ye are buffeted, or like when you put through any type of punishment for your faults, like for something that you done did wrong, you take it patiently. Like if you go to jail, you take it patiently.
Mm-hmm.
But if when you do well and suffer for it, take it patiently too. That's what he's saying. So it's like, right or wrong, you're going to take the bad. He's telling you, just take it patiently. This is acceptable with God. That's what he's telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
For even hereunto.
So basically what he's saying is, chill out. You know what I'm saying? Relax. They get up there, my bad, officer. I'm sorry if I'm putting my hands on the wheel. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want no problems. But go ahead.
For even hereunto were ye called, because Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example that you should follow his steps.
So he's saying that Christ suffered, giving you an example. Go ahead.
Who did no sin, neither was guide found in his mouth. Who, when he was reviled not again.
You know what this telling me? You got to get some more reading in, brother. Like during the week, I could tell when people reading when they're reading for me.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judges righteously.
So you see what he's saying? When he suffered, he didn't like threaten not, like he wasn't trying to buck back. You know what I'm saying? He said he was our example. You know what I'm saying? Keep reading.
Who his own self bare our sins in his own body on the tree, that we, being dead to sins, should live unto righteousness, by whose stripes ye were healed.
That's good. Let's go to Daniel now, chapter 6, because we're going to go into this law. We're going to look at Daniel and how he moved. Because, like, what I'm trying to show you is, ain't nothing wrong with, like, contributing to the government, being in the government. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong with voting. It's nothing wrong with being a police officer. Well, I would say one of my most trustworthy people that I know, like that's in my era, in my age group, who I kick it with. He a police officer in Mobile, Alabama. You dig what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he deal with the word. You know what I'm saying? His name Brother Obadiah. He deal with the word. You dig what I'm saying? But he the police. I'm talking. He was dealing with the word first. He became the police. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with you. If you could be president, be president. So then, with all that being said, ain't nothing wrong with voting. It's just, man, what you voting for? A lot of times we be moving in the way of ignorance. You just do stuff because they propagate it that way. You know what I'm saying? They make you believe a certain type of way because of what's being played on TV and sound bites and things of that nature. How many people actually, before they go vote, go and do historical research on the policies and the things and the practices that these people have actually done? You know what I'm saying? Like, how many people actually do that? I'm sure it's some, but not enough to make a educated. That's why they got an electoral college. They trying to tell you ain't smart enough. We need a college to do this. You ain't smart enough to really put the president in there. Because we'll fool y'all into having Eddie Murphy as president. I mean, you dig what I'm saying? We can fool y'all into putting whoever we want to put in the office. Just like we fooled us into putting Donald Trump in there the first time. Because when Donald Trump was running, there's no way we thought he was going to win the first time. It was a zero. Everybody was like, man, this is a joke. Donald Trump running for president? You know what I'm saying? But then I took it like, well, Ronald Reagan was an actor. Like, I guess so, but whatever. You know what I mean? I didn't think he was going to win. Like, whatever, man. So anyway, so when we look at Daniel, we're going to see how he moved. He's an example. All these prophets are an example, but he's an example in Babylon on how you move and what's the word on it. So Daniel 6:1.
It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom. And over these three presidents.
So this is like they government and they politics. Presidents, go ahead.
Of whom Daniel was first.
And you see Daniel, so basically he like, long story short, cats like Daniel, Joseph, you down in Egypt, these dudes like second over the whole land. They bigger than anything that America got going. You dig what I'm saying? And so that's why I say it's nothing wrong with being involved with politics. You know what I mean? You just got to continue within your integrity, which is going to make it difficult. But go ahead.
That the princes might give account.
You got to remember the kings have been in bed with this woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they moving not in the direction of you, if you being righteous. But go ahead, read some more.
And the king shall have no damage. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes because the excellent spirit was in him.
Right. So notice what it's saying. It's because of how he functioned within this society. An excellent spirit was in him. He was just like, ain't nothing wrong with being an upstanding citizen. You dig what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing wrong. That's a good thing. It's okay, whatever land you in, that you're a good citizen. Ain't nobody got nothing to say against the God, your God, or the law of the land. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Go ahead.
And the king thought to set him over the whole realm. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel.
See, now you got your haters, though. But they said, the king set this dude over the whole realm, though. Go ahead.
Concerning the kingdom.
Uh-huh.
But they could find none occasion nor fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him.
That's good. Let's go over to chapter 1. So you see, when you look at Daniel, like, when it's all said and done, he was walking as a good citizen in society. They couldn't find nothing. They had to make up some rules, and the rules they made up was based off the fact that he prayed to God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they, like, all this, but God protected him when you go read the rest of that story. But the point that we getting at is, you can be a good citizen in this life. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We see in this, Daniel, one of the greatest prophets in the Bible, was a good citizen. Then we're going to learn a little more. Daniel 1:1.
In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem, and besieged it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, with part of the vessels of the house of God, which he carried into the land of Shinar, to the house of his God. And he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God.
So what's happening here is the children of Israel are going into captivity. You know what I mean? Nebuchadnezzar is taking them to captivity, and they taking everything out of whatever King Jehoiakim and all them had. But go ahead.
And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored, and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning in knowledge, and understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace.
So what I'm trying to show you is, so these men were smart, educated people, and they standing in the king's palace. You dig what I'm saying? So that's what you want. You know what I mean? And these is Hebrews, right when we going into captivity. So it's okay to get some good people in there in the king's palace if we could. You understand what I'm saying? Keep reading.
And whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans.
Uh-huh.
And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat, and of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years, that at the end therefore they might stand before the king. Now among these were the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names, for he gave unto Daniel the name of Belshazzar, and to Hananiah of Shadrach, and unto Mishael of Meshach, and unto Azariah of Abednego.
Right, so these are the 3 Hebrew boys. And in the world, they're going to call them Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, but the name was Hananiah, Azariah, and Mishael. Go ahead.
But Daniel proposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat.
So these people was like, they was like cabinet members type joints. And the king got his own provisions that he given his people. But Daniel and them like, nah, we don't want none of what you got. Because the point that we looking at is, you seeing men of God, but they still standing on their integrity while they functioning inside the politics. That's what we talking about. If you ain't doing that, then what's your point? You know what I'm saying? You can still stand on in just your straight up integrity and righteousness. Mm-hmm. But go ahead.
Nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. Now God had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs. And the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who have appointed your meat and your drink, for why should he see your faces worse liking than the children which are of your sort? Uh-huh. Then shall you make me endanger my head to the king.
So what is he saying to him?
That basically, hold on. That like if yours is starting looking worse than them, then I'm gonna be in trouble because I'm not feeding you.
Right, that's how it's looking.
Yeah.
So he said something to them about how they not taking the king's portion and stuff. Go ahead.
11. Then said Daniel to Melzar, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah.
To like look after them. Go ahead.
Prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us posts to eat and water to drink.
So he was like, hey, just put us to the test. Give me 10 days. You just give us this. Go ahead.
Then let our countenance be looked upon before thee, and the countenance of the children that eat of the portion of the king's meat. And as thou seest, deal with thy servants. So he consented to them in this matter, and proved them 10 days. And at the end of the 10 days, their countenance appeared fairer and fatter in flesh than all the children which did eat the portion of the king's meat.
Go ahead.
Thus Melzar took away the portion of their meat, and the wine that they should drink, and gave them posts.
Go ahead.
And as for these 4 children, God gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom. And Daniel had understanding in all vision and dreams.
Yeah.
Now at the end of the days that the king had said he should bring them in, then the prince of the eunuchs...
So notice what's happening. So they checking on them now. Go ahead.
Then the prince of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar. And the king communed with them. And among them all was found none like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore stood they before the king.
And I'm going to say something. Just going back to American politics and in our hip-hop black world. They used to talk about how Kanye West was a Donald Trump supporter. Right? This is what I would say about that. Man, it must be good to have somebody that could talk to the president for you. You see what I'm saying? Like, dang. You know what I mean? Like, how ignorant are we getting? This man in there, he still represents, trust me, as they make songs called Still Nigga. Like, he's still a black man. You know what I'm saying? He's still like, you might be like, oh well, we got some uppity and something. Look, man, at the end of the day, man, you know, it was another girl. I think it was, I can't think of the other girl name, but she was from Georgia, and she was Donald Trump had gave her a pardon or something, like back in the before when she was so she was a Donald Trump supporter or something like that. And a young politician, she had got out of jail or whatever. You dig what I'm saying? Like, and what the same thing as her. Like, this young black lady can talk to the president. You dig what I'm saying? Like, so you mad because it's Donald Trump, but he's the president for 4 years. He was the president. I would have loved for somebody to stay. You dig what I'm saying? So sometimes, man, the media be flipping around, and you seeing here like these people had skill and understanding, and now they talking to the king. Verse 17, as for these 4 children, God gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom, and Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. Now, at the end of the days that the king had said he should bring them in, the princes and the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar, and the king communed with them. Among them was all found none like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, Azariah. Therefore stood they before the king. And in all manners, read that 20.
And in all matters of wisdom and understanding, that the king inquired of them.
See, the king is inquiring of them of all matters of wisdom. You ain't nothing wrong with you involving yourself in the government of today or having somebody in there. The thing is, educate yourself about stuff. Like, stop being so stupid. We just you really think they gonna just tell you the truth on a television show? Like, you think that's really where you gonna find the truth at? By cutting on YouTube or something? Like, no, you gotta do some homework, man. You gotta learn this stuff, and most of us don't know nothing but what TV show us. And we watch 2 people play a game on TV, like debate. I did that in 7th grade at Bates Academy. Same thing they be doing, sitting back and forth debating. Like, so I'm saying it's an age-old game. Whoever can talk the best is the winner. You know what I'm saying? And then they want to show the guy that he can't say nothing. I'm like, dude is a millionaire making money running businesses. He can't be stupid. But y'all want to show little clips of videos where it sounds like he can hardly talk right or what. You know what I'm saying? Just playing games, having people thinking that the guy's stupid or something. I'm like, come on, man. Y'all can believe that lie if you want to. The man ain't stupid. Let's go to Daniel 16, verse 17. And none of these people y'all see running for office stupid. You remember that. Like I say, man, I'm not, I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't care who do what. We was talking a little earlier. I don't think they're going to let this black lady be president, but I could be wrong. I ain't think Donald Trump was going to be president.
You said Daniel 16?
Proverbs 16 and 7. I'm sorry. I could be wrong if they're going to let the black lady be president, but personally, I could care less. I know one thing. You let this lady be president, England had a woman that was running their country for a while. You know what I'm saying? What was her name? The Queen.
Queen Elizabeth. Right?
Yeah, and then they had another woman too, maybe a Margaret or Stats. I don't know, man. Don't get me. Don't. But it seemed like it was another woman at some point. I just can't get it in my head right now. But it doesn't even matter because, one of your power players in the government, you got Europe, but then you got the Middle East. And them Middle East men ain't respecting no woman walking there. I'm just telling you straight like that. They gonna respect that she from America, so they gonna give her the time of day. But when they done talking to her, they gonna sit back with the rest of them, and they gonna disrespect the heck out of this black woman who coming to their meetings or whatever they do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just don't. That's why they ain't let Hillary in there. So I'm just telling you. But hey, she might get in there. Like, man, I could care less. I'm gonna have to do the same thing. But anyway, Proverbs 16 and 17.
The highway of the upright is to depart from evil.
That's not right. Try Proverbs chapter 17, verse. Let me see. How you screw that one up? But read that verse. Go ahead. Maybe it was that verse.
The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. He that keepeth his way preserveth his soul.
Nah, that ain't what I'm looking for. I'm looking for when a man's ways please God, even his enemies is at peace with him. That's what I'm really looking for. So, wait a minute, yeah. And 7, my bad, verse 7. So it's chapter 16, Proverbs 16, verse 7. When you get there, go ahead.
When a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him.
Right. So at the end of the day, if you just serving God, like you see Daniel, his ways please God, Hananiah, Mishael, then even his enemies you're gonna find peace within that. When you operating in righteousness, like just think about you on your job. You getting out there in the world, you starting to see it. You could be a wicked dude or you could be a righteous dude. You can have a reputation where people respect you and feel like you're a nice man and you're kind, or you could be mean and surly, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you dig what I'm saying? You could be friendly or not. But if you're pleasing God and you taking on his fruits of the spirit, long suffering, temperance, you dig what I'm saying? Like things of that nature, then your natural character is going to be a person that people like. You see what I'm saying? So when a man's ways please God, even his enemies are at peace with him. Let's go to Acts chapter 2. Acts chapter 2. Teach you about something else. So one of the things I learned about when I read the Bible is the government of God, or the way it was in the Bible, is not the way it is now. For example, I looked up the difference between capitalism and socialism. Now, these are economic systems. So this is the systems in which the money is done and the economy. But we know that the government controls that to a degree. All right. So it says socialism and capitalism are two economic systems with different approaches to ownership and control of resources. Capitalism is based on private ownership of businesses, industrials, with profits driving production. The market determines prices and distribution. So what that means is, in a capitalist society, if you poor, you don't eat. Socialists advocates for public ownership and control of resources, aiming for equitable distribution of wealth and services. The government plays a significant role in economic planning. So that means that the government making sure everybody eat. That's a socialist society. All right. So what I'm getting at is, when you look at the Bible is structured more socialist than it's structured more socialist than capitalist. Mm-hmm. Like capitalist, think about it. Capitalist, part of the word is like capitalize. Socialist is more like socialize. So when you take it to capitalize on someone, it's a little more, you gotta have to do some wit. It's some finessing. You trying to take advantage. Whereas if you social with somebody, then you're including them into a network or a group. Mm-hmm. I'm saying the Bible is more done that way. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? So the ways of our system is ungodly. So when you're talking about voting and being involved, you're being involved in a system that's really not a godlike system. Now, when I say that, you just need to know that when you decide to cast your vote, cast your opinion on who you want to be in there. Acts chapter 2, 42. Because again, I don't want people to think that you can't vote. That is wrong. You can go vote. It's a right that your forefathers fought for. Like, I mean, when I say that, people die for it. So please, by all means, go in there. Just know what it is, though. Like, know the reality of it. You know what I mean? Everything that you think that you see ain't what it is. Democrats, Republicans, get off that crap. You know what I'm saying? Like, go learn people's policies then because I've been wanting to vote for, I got Ross Perot books sitting up in this joint. I'm voting for Bernie, the dude Killer Mike was repping the last elect. Like, I'm voting Green parties and all these other independents. I'm not getting caught up in the rhetoric of meaning I'm going to do some more investigation. You know when they ask me who I vote for, guess what I say? I vote none of the above. You go investigate that one day. See who I was voting for. So Acts chapter 2, 42, you're going to get a good laugh when you do. 42 through 47. So I'm here because I just want to show, like, the Bible ain't capitalist. Go ahead.
And they continued steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine, fellowship, in the breaking of bread, and in prayers. And fear came upon every soul, and many wonders and signs were done by the apostles. And all that believed were together and had all things common.
So look what he said. Everybody that believed was together and had all things common. That's not a capitalist society. Go ahead.
And sold their possessions and goods, and parted them to all men, as every man had need. And this
been the way. This ain't the first time I read in the book when it said everybody get what they supposed to need. The Lord was doing that back there in the days of when we was in Moses. But go ahead.
And they continued daily with one accord in the temple, and breaking bread from house to house, did eat their meat with gladness and singleness of heart, praising God and having favor with all people. And the Lord added to the church daily such as should be saved.
Let's go to Leviticus chapter 19. Even when you look in the law, you're gonna see it that way. The Bible ain't no capitalist. Matter of fact, it ain't even, like how we elect kings and stuff like that here. We elect the president. Man, so I typed up in this AI app, what is the opposite of democracy? The opposite of democracy is autocracy, where a single person or small groups hold absolute power. That's the Bible. What is politics? I'm dead serious. That's the Bible. We're going to see that in a minute. A single group like the Levites, a single group held absolute power. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the Bible. But hold on. Got more, though. Monarchies, what are they? A monarchy is a form of government where a single person, King David, King Solomon, King Jesus, the monarch, usually king or queen, reigns as head of state. The monarch position is typically hereditary. That's why Jesus said, I was born to be king. Then he said, passing from one generation to the next. Power and authority of the monarchy can vary widely. Well, from absolute rule to a largely symbolic role, like some, how like we know chiefs and stuff.
Yeah,
that junk kind of symbolic. You know what I'm saying? Y'all the chief, and I be saying that. I don't be trying to be funny, but you the chief of what? You know what I'm saying? But they're the chief of something, but they ain't got no political power. They ain't influencing the government like that. They heads of families, and much respect to that. But I say all that to say that we like everything that our country stands for is really against the Bible. So let's look at some more of our law. You in Leviticus 19?
Yeah.
All right, Leviticus 19, 9 through 12. Go ahead.
And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not wholly reap the corners of thy field, neither shalt thou gather the gleanliness of thy harvest. And thou shalt not glean thy vineyard, neither shalt thou gather every grape of thy vineyard.
All right, keep reading.
Thou shalt leave them for the poor and stranger. I am the Lord your God. Ye shall not steal, neither deal falsely, neither lie one to another.
Don't worry, I'm addressing that. I'm just hitting the logic being back. Thank you.
And ye shall not swear by my name falsely, neither shalt thou profane the name of thy God. I am the Lord. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired.
All right, so in the law, notice what it said. It said in Leviticus chapter 19, it said verse, was 9. That 9? Thank you. I see you on it. He said, and when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not wholly reap the corners of thy field, neither shalt thou gather the gleaning of the harvest. Thou shalt not glean thy vineyard, neither shalt thou gather every grape of thy vineyard. Thou shalt leave them for the poor. You know what that's called today? Stealing. You see what I'm saying? So just said the Bible is written where like you growing stuff on your land that you can't sell. You can't even sell this land. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 25. We about to get into a little reading here. We gotta read this. I'm sorry. We gotta burn this oil though. But you can't even sell this land. Like that ain't no way in our society. Like when we gonna read this chapter right here, you gonna see like this society functions way different than our society. This is one of our feast days, the Pentecost. But when you start looking at everything about it, it's way different than our society. It's definitely not a capitalist or a democratic society in this joint. Go ahead, Leviticus 25, pick it up at verse 1.
And the Lord spake unto Moses in Mount Sinai, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye come into the land which I give you, then shall the land keep a Sabbath unto the Lord.
That's what's important to God. Go ahead.
6 years thou shalt sow thy field, and 6 years thou shalt pune thy vineyard, and gather in the fruit thereof.
Yes.
But in the 7th year shall be a Sabbath of rest unto the land, a Sabbath for the Lord. Thou shalt neither sow thy field, nor prune thy vineyard.
Right.
That which groweth of its own accord of thy harvest thou shalt not reap.
Yep.
Neither gather the grapes of thine vineyard undressed, for it is the year of rest unto the land. And the Sabbath of the land shall be meat for you, for thee, and for thy servant, and for thy maid, and for thy hired servant, and for thy stranger that sojourn with thee. And for thy cattle, and for the beasts that are in thy land, shall all the increase thereof be meat. And thou shalt number 7 Sabbaths of years unto thee, 7 times 7 years.
So he's just telling them from the regular Feast of Pentecost, we got like yearly, it's a yearly stage too. So everything just functioning in sevens. Then he gonna take it to a whole nother like 7 years times 7 years, and then so like the Lord is just showing, and when he's giving you this law and he's showing you to count down these years and how we counted down weeks, he's doing it to another level now. So he's saying, look, 6 years we're gonna plant the vineyard. The 7th year we're gonna let it rest. You know what I'm saying? So he's just breaking down how he's supposed to operate in his land. That's the point. But go ahead, keep reading.
And the space of the 7 Sabbaths a year shall be unto 49 years. Then shalt thou cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month. In the day of atonement shall you make the trumpet sound throughout all your land.
Yeah.
And you shall hallow the 50th year and proclaim liberty.
So every 50 year you're going to hallow it and proclaim liberty. So what is that going to mean? I would wish they'd do this in America. Go ahead.
Throughout all the land and to all the inhabitants thereof. It shall be a jubilee unto you, and ye shall return every man into his possession, and ye shall return every man into his family.
Go ahead.
A jubilee shall that 50th year be unto you. Ye shall not sow, neither reap that which groweth of itself in it.
So he said, in the 50th year, don't grab nothing out your yard. Go ahead.
Nor gather the grapes in it of thy vineyard undressed. For it is the jubilee; it shall be holy unto you. Ye shall eat of the increase thereof out of the field. In the year of this jubilee ye shall return every man into his possession.
Everybody get to go home. Go ahead.
And if thou sell aught unto thy neighbor, or buyest aught of thy neighbor's
So if
hand,
you buying and selling with your neighbor, any products or goods or anything like that, go ahead.
ye shall not oppress one another.
Right. Don't be trying to like charging interest and making it hard. Like, be fair with what you got. Go ahead.
And if thou sell aught,
This is different from capitalism and all. You see what I'm saying? This ain't about making this. Man, the Lord said unjust weight is an abomination to him. Like, everything's supposed to be fair in his kingdom. That's what he's showing you. This is not capitalist. Go ahead.
according to the number of years after the Jubilee thou shalt buy of thy neighbor, and according to the number of years of the fruits he shall sell unto thee. According to the multitude of years thou shalt increase the price thereof, and according to the fewness of years thou shalt diminish the price.
Right, so he's just like setting up how you scale the prices and stuff. Like, it's all a fair balance with him. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
For according
Supply and demand ain't what this about. You dig what I'm saying? That's what you learn in econ class.
Yeah,
supply and demand. You dig what I'm saying? This ain't about supply and demand. Go ahead.
For according to the number of the years of the fruits doth he sell unto thee. Ye shall not therefore oppress one another, but thou shalt fear thy God, for I am the Lord your God. Wherefore ye shall do my statutes, and keep my judgments, and do them, and ye shall dwell in the land in safety.
See, this is what the Lord talking about. He say, you're going to dwell safely if you keep my commandments. But that makes sense. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Then we are going to be dwelling safely. Go ahead.
And the land shall yield her fruit, and ye shall eat your fill, and dwell therein in safety. And if ye shall say, what shall we eat the 7th year? Behold, we shall not sow, nor gather in our increase. Then I will command my blessing upon you in the 6th year, and it shall bring forth fruit for 3 years.
Go ahead.
And ye shall sow the 8th year, and eat yet of old fruit until the 9th year. Until her fruits come in, ye shall eat of the old store.
Yeah.
The land shall not be sold forever, for the land is mine. For ye are strangers and sojourners with me.
So now he get to talking about the land ain't supposed to be sold. And then he going to even break it down to where, and we're not going to read all this, but if you sell the land, like, it's a policy in there, like how you supposed to get it back and all that. Like basically, it ain't nothing like America. That's why we in this chapter. And that's what I'm saying. We done seen enough of this chapter to see there's nothing like America. But if you keep reading in this chapter, because remember, we setting the foundation. You know what I'm saying? If you keep reading this chapter, you're going to see, like, man, this whole thing that's going on in this chapter, man. And like let's read, what verse you stopped at?
25.
He said, and if thy brother be waxing poor, and have sold away some of his possessions, and if any of his kin come to redeem it, then shall he redeem that which his brother sold. And if the man have none to redeem it, and himself be able to redeem it, then let him count the year of the sale thereof, and restore the overplus unto the man to whom he sold it, that he may return unto his possession. But if he be not able to restore it to him, then that which is sold shall remain in the hand of him that have bought it until the year of Jubilee. Like the Lord, he like, man, no. At a certain time, man, everybody get their stuff back. We ain't finna be sitting here like the bank. You know how they created the bank? They created the bank like they got everybody money. One person got everybody money. And then they turn around and say how much of the money they'll loan out of it. Like they got all our money, they holding it. And then they'll take, our $3 million and loan it out to somebody else. And they determine who they can loan it out to. And that's a part of this capitalist society. And I'm taking it short, but what I'm saying is here is like, man, ain't nobody hold the way the Edomites got the banking system because they was holding everybody money. You know what I'm saying? Here ain't nobody holding nothing. So ain't nobody gonna play the bank. You dig what I'm saying? Like ain't nobody gonna be, hey man, let me get them shoes. I give you a couple dollars. You dig what I'm saying? And now I'm holding all the shoes. You know what I'm saying? Or you follow what I'm getting at? Like ain't nobody doing that in this, but that's not what capitalism is about. So what I'm saying is when you look at our government and then you try to look at the Bible, you do need to understand there are two different things. You're not, remember we read earlier though, but the heart of the king is in the hands of the Lord. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like he controlling them anyway. But I'm saying they're two different things. Matter of fact, let's look at the Lord government a little bit. Let's go to Deuteronomy 16. We just got a couple more from here. Deuteronomy chapter 16. Deuteronomy 16. And we're going to start at verse 18. And then we're going to go into chapter 17 a little bit. Deuteronomy chapter 16. And we're going to start at 18 and 19. When you get there, go ahead and read.
Judges and officers shalt thou make thee in all thy gates.
This is back in the land. He telling you make judges and officers. Go ahead.
Which the Lord thy God giveth thee throughout thy tribes, and they shall judge the people with just judgment. Thou shalt not wrest judgment.
Twist. That's what rest means.
Thou shalt not respect persons, neither take a gift, for a gift doth blind the eyes of the wise.
Meanwhile, our congressmen got lobbyists that's handing them money. You know what I'm saying? To represent them in some type of way. But it be all kind of, that's what John F. Kennedy, that's part of why the conspiracy of his death is they said that the Italian mob was giving them campaign contributions or whatever. And then on the back end, Kennedy get in office and he go against the mob. You know what I'm saying? But you're supposed to be supporting them. And Kennedy Catholic, the mob Catholics, I can, and I done did more research, but I say it can make some sense. And then they was mad at now John F. Kennedy and Robert Kennedy pissed off the mob. Yo union. That's the Jimmy Hoffa joint. Jimmy Hoffa and the Carters the Kennedys was going back and forth with each other. You dig what I'm saying? So the point that I'm getting at is, they give money out and expect favors in return. The Bible is telling you gifts pervert judgment and doeth blind the eyes of the wise. So when these people get money and these lobbyists giving them money, you blind in the eyes of the wise. There's a good movie out about politics where Eddie Murphy ran for Congress. You ever seen that movie?
Oh.
Where he ran for Congress under somebody's name. And it was like the name you know. That was his campaign speech. My name is David Duke, whatever it was, the name you know. You know what I'm saying? And when he got in there, he learned a lot about how it be working in the politics. And how, it's like people putting their money down on you, do what they tell them to do. That's why I say it's really weird who run it. But anyway, let's go to chapter 17, though. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not sacrifice unto the Lord thy God any bullock or sheep wherein is blemish or any evil favoredness, for that is an abomination to the Lord thy God. If there be found among you within any of thy gates, which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
So he got these judges set up. Go ahead.
Man or woman that hath wrought wickedness in the sight of the Lord thy God, in transgressing his covenant, and have gone and served other gods, and worshipped them, either the sun or moon, or any of the hosts of heaven, which I have not commanded, and it be told thee, and thou hast heard of it, and inquired diligently, and behold, it be true, and the thing certain, that such abominations is wrought in Israel.
Go ahead.
Then shalt thou bring forth that man or that woman, which have committed that wicked thing, unto thy gates, even that man or that woman, and shall stone them with stones till they die.
Go ahead.
At the mouth of two or of 2 witnesses or 3 witnesses shall he that is worthy of death be put to death. But at the mouth of 1 witness he shall not be put to death.
Go ahead.
The hands of the witnesses shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterward the hands of all the people. So thou shalt put the evil away from among you.
Go ahead.
If there arise a matter too hard for thee in judgment, between blood and blood, between plead and plead, and between stroke and stroke, being matters of controversy within thy gates, then shalt thou arise and get thee up into the place which the Lord thy God shall choose.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt come into the priests, the Levites, and into the judge that shall be in those days.
So he had them executing judgment, like the judges and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a different system that's going on. They got executive branch, legislative branch, and all these different things. And that's not how the Lord had it set up. The king ain't finna be sitting around there making a decision to stone everybody either. So you got judges set up, all that, right? But then when the matter got too hard, take it to the church. So this is the governing body here. And the Levites, we ain't electing them. These are sons of Levi. Go ahead.
And inquire, and they shall show thee the sentence of judgment. And thou shalt do according to the sentence which they of that place which the Lord shall choose shall show thee. And thou shalt observe to do according to all that they inform thee, according to the sentence of the law which they shall teach thee, and according to the judgment which they shall teach thee, thou shalt do. Thou shalt not decline from the sentence which they shall show thee.
Saying that when these Levites, these priests make this move, this is it. Go ahead.
To the right hand nor to the left. And the man that will do presumptuously and will not hearken unto the priest that standeth to minister there before the Lord thy God, or unto the judge, even that man shall die, and thou shalt put away the evil from Israel.
See, that with the Lord, it was about getting evil up out of Israel. And I'm just trying to show you that government was different. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at this chapter 16 and 17 and 18, you'll see government is different. And it's showing you really the 3 forms of government God got. He got the judges, he got the priests, and then he got the king. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the king had rules too. And that's in this chapter 17. But we're going to keep it moving. So we're going to wrap this up. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 29. You know I'm just keeping it moving because we like running long.
Yeah, that's all the time.
Because, you know, I could do this all day. This is my topic. You know what I'm saying? I like to argue with people about it. So people be thinking they know. And it really be simple. You know what I mean? Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 4 through 8. And when you get there, go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, unto all that are carried away captive, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon.
That's us.
Build ye houses.
So he telling you something. When you in this land, build houses. Go ahead.
And dwell in them.
Right. So, like, because what we getting at is, man, you over here, man, don't be trying to buck the system so hard. So, like, you ain't got to be so dogmatic. Somebody want to go vote, let them vote. They ain't got that. Who cares? Like, why would you care who don't vote? If somebody, like, as I'm saying, like, if you don't vote, why are you caring somebody else going to vote? Oh, you know, Israel ain't supposed to set up no king over them, no of another nation. Man, Israel ain't set up nothing. We vote for the United States of Israel's king. We vote for the president of the United States or whatever. Somebody want to vote for that? Have fun. Go see the ballot box. You ever seen the ballot box? You know what I mean? See what it go look like. So you can at least have that bit of information too. And I don't vote for presidents. I don't vote. I don't care. I'm not going to complain either. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just my personal. Like, that's my personal opinion. I ain't got time for it. I ain't got time to get up and if I put my time into it, I'm gonna be pissed at the end of the day. It's like sports gambling.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, dang, man, you know who should be. What's wrong with the world? They should have. You dig what I'm saying? They should have had Betty Sue in there. Betty Sue all the way on the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang. I mean, so I'm just saying I ain't got time for it. It's a headache to me. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I'm gonna deal with my God. God gonna protect me, keep me safe, lead and guide me. That's it. That's just my philosophy. Meantime, y'all want to go vote? Anybody? Y'all want to go vote? I'm not gonna be mad. I'm gonna ask you about it. But you already know up in here. I'm like, why you vote for such and such? What was your thoughts on that? You know what I mean? Like, anyway, Jeremiah 29. So he said, build ye houses, dwell in them, plant gardens, eat the fruit on them. Go ahead, verse 6.
Take ye wives and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, and you may be increased there, and not diminished.
Uh-huh.
and seek the peace of the city, whether I have caused you to be carried away captive.
He said, seek the peace. So if you think about something, if somebody you realize, like I said, if David Duke is running for president, that don't seem like that's going to be no peace for us. He Klansman, whatever. And, David Duke, he been done. His days is over, I guess. I don't know. But the point I'm getting at is, but if somebody you just know is straight up evil, why would you let him? Don't you want to stand up like, no, I don't want him. If you can. You know what I'm saying? Like you could, like I say, don't complain when it go the other way. But he telling you, seek the peace of the city. Like that's what you want. We want peace here. We don't want chaos here. Brother Bowie taught me this a long time, man. A long time ago, he said, look, let it get bad in this country. If it's gonna get bad for the white folks, it's gonna get worse for you. So you might want to seek the peace of this land. Because if it get bad for white folks, it's gonna be worse for everybody else because this they land. It's just like if it was your land. If it got bad for you and your land, what you think everybody else go get?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Right. If you ain't eating, ain't nobody else eating. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying. But let's go to Isaiah chapter 2. We're going to look at one more after this. Because at the end of the day, this the government we looking for, man. There is a government coming. You know what I'm saying? A politic is coming. You know what I'm saying? Policies is coming. Isaiah chapter 2. Isaiah chapter 2. And let's pick this up in verse 1. When you get there, go ahead and read.
The word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem.
Right.
And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem.
Right, so when it's all said and done, man, he telling you it's going to come to pass in the last days that the mountain or the government, that's what that is too, of the Lord's house shall be established. It's going to be in the top of the mountains. He's going to be exalted above all other hills, all other governments, all nations. They going to have to come to it. Many people going to go and say, Come ye, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of God of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his path. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And he shall do what? Verse 4.
And he shall judge among the nations.
Right. He going to be a monarch in this joint. Ain't going to be no president. We're going to be elected every 8 years and all. Nah. One time only. Go ahead.
And shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares.
Yeah, ain't gonna be none of this when the Lord set up his government where we got nuclear missiles and all that. The Lord only missiles gonna be coming around here, fire coming out the sky from God. Like that's it. Ain't no fighting him. Go ahead.
And their spears into pruning hooks.
Yeah.
Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore.
Uh-huh.
O house of Jacob, come ye and let us walk in the light of the Lord.
Go ahead. That's good. Let's go to our last scripture. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 17. It's our last scripture here. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 17. And look, all I'm saying is, like, I'm going to be straight up with you, man. I'm not the voting one. I'm not getting caught up in that game. You know what I'm saying? Like, you when you do vote, what you're saying is that I'm trying to re-represent it. And you are. They're going to tell you how many people voted. You know what I'm saying? You're represented. It's cool. It's not sin if you go vote for the president. Am I voting for it? Nah, man. I'm not getting caught. I'm not getting caught up in this little game, man. Y'all can play that game on y'all own. I watch sports. If I want to know who's going to win, I'll at least get to see them play. You know what I'm saying? I can see them performing. I don't even get to watch them perform for real. This is a joke what you see on TV. You get how many hours do you really think of television you gonna get to see of the constituents running for office? Like maybe 24 hours worth of different interviews? You think maybe more than 24 or less than? Let's just say 24 hours worth. Dude, they about to run the country for 4 years. You get 24 hours worth of information, and you telling me you got enough information equipped to determine who should be the next president? Honestly, I tell you what. I would advise you, forget about your president. Who cares? That's the federal government. I would advise you to make sure you understand what's going on in your state and in your county and in your borough and in your, you know what I'm saying, your town. Know who, city councils and things of that matter. That's what matters. because that's going to affect you more directly than federal government. Y'all don't even know what the federal government do on the state or its local level. Like, that's what I say. We could talk politics. Like, so you're wasting your time, honestly. Who cares what the federal government is doing? What I need to know is the federal government ain't really got a whole lot to do with dude that's pulling up in front of my house, the police. You dig what I'm saying? That's local. So that's where you really want to, when the federal government passed laws, sure, it took a minute before the local government decided to pass them. Like that's why you got the whole Jim Crow law. You dig what I'm saying? Ecclesiastes, let's finish it here. So I'm just saying, like, I'm just telling you, man, I would advise you to be more in tune with your local. But if you want to go and vote for Senate and all this federal government stuff, it ain't no sin. Have fun. Tell me about it. I want to know why you selected whomever. Ecclesiastes 10-17.
Blessed art thou, O land, when thy king is the son of nobles, and thy princes eat in due season for strength and not for drunkenness.
You see what he just said? Blessed art thou, O land, when thy king is the son of the noble. Well, that's going to happen when the Lord come back. He's going to set up Jesus and David, sons of noble. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be king on the planet. Jesus, king of kings, and David, king of Israel. And they're going to be a monarchy. Not no a republic. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a monarchy. It's going to be a king by birth. It's not going to be capitalist. None of that. So, anyway, brothers and sisters, I hope y'all got something from today's lesson at Burning Midnight Oil, man. You know, stuff like this ain't as easy, or I should say it's harder for me to do in an hour or 12 scriptures, or not pulling all type of information out, because I had a lot of information. I'm like, nah, don't do it that way. So, anyway, we still got some lessons on deck that we're supposed to be covering from requests. You can always make your request. We got a few different things we're going to be coming through with you, some other guests, things like that we're going to be doing here at Burning Midnight Oil. So stay tuned. I hope that you are continuing to learn, and we're going to leave what we always leave you with. What's that, my brother?
One man plants,
yes,
another man water. It's the Lord that gives the increase.
Peace to you in Jesus' name. Thank you for your time.
Open script and I'ma read it right. Study to show thyself approved. You got to read it right. Everyday hell, I'm just trying to show eternal life. I'm just trying to show eternal life. This burning all at midnight. Who shall teach knowledge, make them understand doctrine? Who shall teach knowledge, make them understand doctrine? Who shall teach knowledge, make them understand doctrine? Line upon line, line upon line. Who shall teach knowledge, make them understand doctrine? Who shall teach knowledge, make them understand doctrine? Who shall teach knowledge, make them understand doctrine? Line upon line, make them understand doctrine. Open script and I'ma read it right. Study to show thyself approved. You got to read it right. Everyday hell, I'm just trying to show eternal life. I'm just trying to show eternal life. This burning all at midnight. Who shall teach knowledge, make them understand doctrine? Who shall teach knowledge, make them understand doctrine? Who shall teach knowledge, make them understand doctrine? Line upon line, line upon line. Who shall teach knowledge, make them understand doctrine? Who shall teach knowledge, make them understand doctrine? Who shall teach knowledge, make them understand doctrine? Line upon line, make them understand doctrine. Open script and I'ma read it right. Study to show thyself approved. You got to read it right. Everyday hell, I'm just trying to show eternal life. I'm just trying to show eternal life.